first time I ever heard of Werner Herzog was in some random paragraph of a film textbook. It was kind of comparing all of the great filmmakers to each other and all of their commonalities. Tarkovsky and Fellini and Bergman, Paul Thomas Anderson and Christopher Nolan. And at the very end of the sentence, and it said, and Werner Herzog. I was like, dude, that's such a random guy. I kind of like laughed at him. I was like, dude, who is that?
So we have to declare holy war against what we see every single day on television.
The second time I ever heard of Werner Herzog came to my school to show us like a little portion of his movie or whatever, and he brought up this huge graph of the life cycle of dead languages and started yelling at our professors about teaching 3-act structure, and a bunch of people were walking out of the theater because they felt offended that he would even talk to them like that.
The enormity of their stupidity is just overwhelming.
And I immediately was, I don't know, it's hard not to be inspired by the guy.
And baseness and obscenity of all this jungle. We, in comparison to that enormous articulation, we only sound and look like badly pronounced and half-finished sentences out of a stupid suburban novel.
And so that's kind of why I'm making this video today, because I really like Werner Herzog. He's kind of an inside joke, like the Wilhelm scream. You'll see him show up in places like Parks and Rec, showed up in The Mandalorian, of course. The super viral Instagram video with the penguin.
With 5,000 kilometers ahead of him, he's heading towards certain death.
I think it's just funny that, like, as outlandish and as crazy as he is, he always kind of finds himself working back into a more popular culture.
Being stuck in that tube changed me in so many ways.
For a guy like his age to always be relevant, I do think he is one of the best filmmakers of all time. So today I wanted to make a real quick video to just kind of give you a watch list in the order that I think is best to get introduced to Werner Herzog. But I want to give you the top 5 little highlights here so that you can just jump in and have fun with his movies without getting too bogged down with some of these more deep cuts. Let's get started. It's not one of those videos. Okay, number 1, it's called Huie's Sermon from 1981. I know, if anybody has actually watched Werner Herzog movies, they're going to say, what in the heck are you talking about? Maybe this one is more of a bonus. And if you treat it like that, then that's fair. But I do think you should at least go through it a little bit. You can skip through. I feel like I learned more about Werner watching this movie because there's only like 5 people in the credits. So, I mean, it's as close to his vision as it could have gotten. He was a famous filmmaker already at the time of him making this. He just kind of ran this. It's just interesting that he even wanted to make this in the first place. So movie number 2, trust me, I'm gonna amp it up. Okay, I'm not gonna stay at Huie's Sermon, and we're gonna do a fun one for number 2. I think you gotta go Fitzcarraldo. Now, while you got a lot of other big documentaries in Werner Herzog's filmography, this one is a narrative. This is 157 minutes of runtime, so it's very long, and it's about a guy who wants to build an opera house in the middle of the jungle. In order for him to accomplish his crazy dream, he has to pull a boat over a mountain with nothing but like very primitive tools and some help from like the local natives who live in the area. It looks so real because it is. I mean, the amount of trees that get knocked down in this movie are insane. You get your first introduction of Klaus Kinski. If you're not familiar with him, you're going to be by the end of Werner Herzog's filmography. He kind of acts like a crackhead. I'm just gonna throw a couple shots on screen that I got off of Shot Deck. I mean, look at these. These are insane. For some reason, there's something about this movie. Last year, I saw Werner Herzog speak at AFI Festival, and his one big advice to filmmakers was do the doable.
I keep telling young filmmakers, I always tell them, dream big, but do the doable. So what I do has always been doable. And this is why I always finished my films. Even a film that was very hard to create, Fitzcarraldo, was finished because I knew it was doable. A ship can be moved, although there's no precedence in the history of technology.
I think it's up there with like 2001: A Space Odyssey in terms of just like a massive undertaking. Movie number 3 is, of course, Grizzly Man. yeah, you just gotta see this one. It's about a guy who's super passionate about grizzly bears. Probably heard about this. When you watch this, I just want you to pay attention to the extent to which you feel like the people are real. This is supposed to be a documentary. This is supposed to be real. The coroner or like the medical examiner, I don't really know who this guy is, but he's staring right at the camera the entire time, and there's something very uncanny about this entire movie. If you get to this one, put in the comments below why you think the guy liked the bears so much. Werner Herzog kind of gets into it, kind of gets into the guy's childhood. And something about Grizzly Man that is bewildering is that Werner Herzog didn't film a lot of it. It was filmed by the guy himself in isolation. So Werner took all that footage and pieced it together and shot some of his own and interviewed this guy's loved ones and put together this story. So I think the production of this one is just fascinating because a huge portion of what you see wasn't even really controlled by the filmmaker, but he had to find meaning in this video footage. He tends to gravitate towards a single character that has some weird obsession and is relentlessly, passionately chasing their dream. It's literally like Luffy from One Piece, where like you have these characters who have this passion and maybe people around them think, kid, you don't have what it takes, or like what you believe in is dumb. And then you go on the journey with that character. What makes that element so crazy is that he makes documentaries. So you're seeing real people who act like that. You can definitely see the correlation between Grizzly Man and Fitzcarraldo. It's just something that Werner Herzog is really interested in. And it's kind of one of the main ways that he makes his characters sympathetic and interesting is like, dude, why do you want to do that? That is so dumb. I think it makes it really exciting. So Grizzly Man, great watch. You should check it out. Okay, movie number 4. I'm vibing this out. I gotta go Lessons of Darkness. I kind of think that Lessons of Darkness follows the uncanniness of Grizzly Man, where I didn't know if it was real for a little bit. And I think that's a crazy effect because when you find out that it is in fact real, it is fascinating. So the movie takes place a little bit after the Gulf War. Apparently, there were a bunch of fires in Kuwait and the oil there caught fire and kind of created these apocalyptic wastelands. So the voiceover is from the perspective of like an alien off of Earth, and they kind of hold that throughout, and the whole time you're experiencing this apocalyptic Kuwait. I think the reason I'm putting it on the top 5 list right now is because of this one shot that I just can't get out of my head. And Werner follows this a group of firemen as they try to combat these flames, and this guy just launches this fire right into an oil well. Number 5 goes to Wheel of Time. So the entire movie is a look at this big Buddhist ritual called the Wheel of Time. It's probably a little closer to like a National Geographic documentary actually. So literally you just watch people do their thing in their culture. This shows one of the best sides of Werner Herzog's documentaries, sort of the more educational ones. He puts it in such an interesting, engaging, and existential way, especially a place where I really have nothing in common with these people. So that's my 5. Huie's Sermon, Fitzcarraldo, Grizzly Man, Lessons of Darkness, Wheel of Time. This is just a starting point. I could do more videos like this if people are ever interested. I've made other film-based videos that, I don't know, I feel like I'm interested in. I do want to throw at the end here, if you want a challenging watch, you could watch My Son, What Have You Done? It's a David Lynch, Werner Herzog collaboration film.
Oh God, my glasses. Doug got the glasses again. It's disgusting.
I don't care if you subscribe. Do it or not. It doesn't matter. The algorithm is going to do what it's going to do. All right. See ya.